Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 664 for the 19th of December. Starting from the Kherson Front, at the Kherson Front, usual continue. It's like AI tool, AI programming. Ukrainian forces continue to reinforce to Krinky as the Russians continue to attack Krinky. This basically is about the story of the past 1 month, and there is geolocation of a drone strike on the Ukrainian boats that is trying to reinforce or to evacuate injured soldiers. So yeah, so over at this location, so this is still continuing. It's looking really stupid by this point. We move on over from the Kherson Front. We move into the Zaporizhzhia Front. This is Zaporizhzhia city. This is the Zaporizhzhia Front. At the Zaporizhzhia Front, at the Kharkiv sector, this is the Kharkiv sector, the Russian forces continue their offensive around this region here, with the fighting reported west of Novoperovska as well as towards Robotine. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces along the tree line shows that the Ukrainians continue to hold a position along this area here, which means that the Russian attack is probably further south. In this area here, probably most likely to recapture this these two trench line, these two very long trench lines. And there is an interesting geolocation of Russian forces conducting an assault up this tree line on this eastern part or northeastern part of Novoprokopivka, which means that the Russians are currently pushing in this direction. And if they are successful, what you will see is that they will continue to push up and cut off the Ukrainians into two halves. So one side will be the Vrobove region one, and another one will be the Robotine region one. So yeah, this could work as well. But of course this will put them into some kind of a salient, which is which may be risky of getting sandwiched by the Ukrainians themselves as well. So we shall see how this goes. Elephant. And okay, let's move on over to the Velika Novosilka sector. There's nothing around here, so this front is basically dead right now. Nothing is happening anymore. Over at this Donetsk Front, this is the Donetsk Front. There is an update regarding the front line just north of Mikhailsky. According to Deep State UA, there is certain changes. The Ukrainian front line have actually retracted a lot more towards where the Russian front line seems to be. So the Russians actually have some kind of salient to the north, or some kind of bulge to the north of Mikhailsky, whereas this is most likely the case, but of course there's a possibility that the Russians are here as well. So this is Voleda for those that do not know why Mikhailsky is important. So the Russian forces is looking something like this. So anyway, we move into Novomikhailivka, where all the hype is right now. The Russian forces continue to be attacking. This time around, they close up this southeastern part of Novomikhailivka. As I mentioned before, they will actually try to I forgot what's the word. Strangle Novomikhailivka from all sides, and this is what happening. As I mentioned, this area here is very easy to close down. So this is exactly what had happened. The Russian forces is now closing in, mainly because from while this is a plain, of course, you coming through a plain is easy to get fired upon, but of course the defensive positions are also easy to get fired upon. And the Russians have been conducting a series of air strikes and artillery strikes at this kind of position, which means that they can suppress or chase away the Ukrainian defenders that is currently holding this eastern flank of this Novomikhailivka, allowing the Russian forces to actually push in from this very open area here. And particularly with the Russians already probably fighting within Novomikhailivka already by this point, so the Ukrainian forces will be busy, will be very busy with fighting to the south of the city, of the town, and they will not be able to reinforce over to the eastern part, allowing the Russian forces to push in. And so this is a very tricky situation, and this remains to be seen if the Ukrainian forces can continue to hold these northern positions around all this area here, because the Russian forces, if they are so strongly pushing in these directions, what will happen is that the Ukrainian forces will have to redraw forces to strengthen the position. But we shall see. Maybe they just send in reinforcement But of course, if they redraw, then the Russians will simply push in, and will just make the strangling even more strangling Lily. Strangling Lily. Over at the Marinka region, fighting continues to be reported at Marinka, and crazily, Marinka is still holding. Marinka holds. Because the Russians are still trying to push as the Ukrainians counterattack at Marinka. So, Marinka is still not captured. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And further up north, there is fighting reported at Krasnohorivka. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, is unsure where the vector of attack comes from. So we shall continue to wait and see. I think when something serious happens, we will know what it will be. Tentatively, we do not know. Over at this Avdiivka Front. So this is Donetsk city. This is Avdiivka Front. This is Avdiivka city. At the Avdiivka Front, the Russians continue their Avdiivka offensive. This is one of those rare moments of Russians are very persistent in their offensive operations. Fighting continues on the eastern part of Novobakhmutivka, at Stepove, in the south of Avdiivka, at Zhevene, at Tonenke, to the west of Vodian, Pervomaisky, and Nevelsky. So there is no Ukrainian counterattack being reported. It's still largely a Russian initiative with multiple geolocations. There's geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drones just off Tonenke along the tree line. So nothing is like, they are just there. Russian forces getting hit by FPV drone as well. This one confirms where the front line actually is. Over at the southern part, Ukrainians are geolocated just off this area in the tree lines here, getting attacked by the FPV drones. So further south, this is yet another. This was previously geolocated before at this location in the so-called Vineyard region, getting attacked by FPV drones. Continue to show the Ukrainian presence in this area here, which means that the Russian push into this private estate region is unlikely to be very deep, and unlikely to be quite sustainable at this moment, because the Ukrainians can actually just attack back. We shall see how this goes, because the Russians do have a lot of they do set this up like a forward operating base of salt. So we can see either a Russian push or Ukrainian counterattack will be quite hard. Like I said, this is a stronghold right now. We shall see how this goes. Further up north, there is another geolocation. This is a Ukrainian tank that was destroyed, according to the geolocation by Crimea Caprice. So the Ukrainian tank was destroyed at this location. Previously, the front line was here. So it just shows that this is a gray zone, which the Ukrainians can actually launch raids and attacks towards this area here. So nothing very, very surprising in that sense. So we shall see how this goes, and that's all from the Avdiivka Front. We move on. Nothing at the New York Front. We move into the Bakhmut Front. This is Bakhmut City. At the Bakhmut Front, the Russian forces continue their Bakhmut offensive with fighting reported at Klishchiivka and Andriivka. So we don't have a lot of details this time round. So that's all we know. We also know that the Russian forces is attacking outwards from Bakhmut towards the west of Bakhmut towards Ivanivsky. This is currently happening. Fighting is also reported at Bodanivka. And that's about it from the Bakhmut Front. We don't have much details regarding this time round. At the Siversk Front, there is a geolocation of Russian forces just on the southwestern part of Sperne. So this could be a corroboration of the Russian attack on the 18th of December. There was this report by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry that the Russians attacked in Sperne. So this could be the attack that I was talking about, probably not here. So it's probably this one. So anyway, we shall see how this goes. This is a pretty shitty place to fight. You can see it's just very, very big plains, and some tree lines. These plains are all very big. It's like over 1.3 kilometers wide. So it is a very difficult place to fight. Once you go into the open, you're in the open. So we move on into the Kreminna Front. This is Kreminna. At the Kreminna Front, the Russian forces attack within the Serebryansky Forestry. Ukrainians counterattack at Dibrova as well. At Dibrova, the Russians attack at the Yampolivka, Terny, as well as the eastern part of Terny. So this is the current situation right now over in this southern part of the Kreminna Front. Geolocation of this ambush was geolocated here by military summary. I find this a very incredible that it can geolocate something that was like there's totally no landmark to see. That's amazing. There's other geolocation of a CV-90 and a Leopard tank operating in this area here, protecting Terni. So, which means the Ukrainians are putting a lot of effort to defend this front line to prevent the Russians from reaching the Zaporizhzhia River. So the Russians are definitely pushing. You can see by the deployment of the type of tanks that they are using, shows the seriousness of the Ukrainians to hold the line. Moving on, further up north, there is fighting reported at Kharkiv. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the Ukrainians attacking within this region here. I'm not exactly sure about this. As usual, the name of Kharkivka or Grekivka is also Petrovskoye, which is the word that was used by the Russian Defense Ministry. We shall wait and see whether what is this going to look like. And over the Svetove front, we have nothing. We move into the Kupyansk Front. At the Kupyansk Front, the entire eastern part of the front line is still quiet. The only fighting is reported at Sinkivka. So this front line went quiet again. Maybe they are preparing for New Year or Christmas, I don't know. And then the Ukrainians counterattack at Sinkivka as well. So the fighting mainly resides around this area here. There's nothing else over at this front line. The deep state US claim that the Russians will cross over at Liman Bruhi still have not happened. There is another geolocation over at the Kharkiv Front. So the Happy Front, Kharkiv city, at the Kharkiv Front, there is a geolocation of Russian bombing alleged Ukrainian command post and fuel depot over at Volchansk. So this is interesting in the sense that I'm not sure if this will precede any kind of military operation from the Russians to attack into the Kharkiv Front over from the Volchansk region. Volchansk region is actually very important. This is a strategically important city. This is a border town or border city, and from this area here you can spread eastward, southward, southeastward, and of course it secures the crossing around this area here, and this will allow fighting to secure this flank of the river of this Siversk Donetsk River. The Russians can then attack from the western part of the Siversk Donetsk River and bring the fighting over at Vernisteltiv and Rubizne. So all these are town names that we used to talk about very, very much over the past year when the Kharkiv Front is still a thing. So interesting development. Let's see how this goes. Maybe it's just a nothing, because there is always bombardments and air strikes, artillery strike, mortar strikes all along the front line between Russia and Ukraine. So it's not particularly unusual in that sense. Oh, there's one more thing is the Russia have struck the Starokonstyantyniv air base. This is the air base. Again, this air base is constantly getting struck because it's one of the air base that was used to deploy the Sukhoi 24s. So which is used to fire the Storm Shadow cruise missiles. So this constantly they are getting struck. And so having an air base this far away from the front line so that they can be secured doesn't look very secure still. But of course, very, very safe from a ground attack. So anyway, this is the summary for the day of 664 for the 19th of December. So just some chit chat. I saw a comment saying that your reporting have improved a lot over the past few weeks or something. So actually the difference between the reporting from nowadays versus previously was that I don't go through all the sources. If you have not noticed. So previously, I will go through all the different sources. For example, I will say, so fighting reported at Olishki Island, information coming from the Russian Defense Ministry, this come from Ryba. I will just keep repeating all this information about where the source of this information come from, because I thought it's very important. Because everything is source, everything there is a source. I don't make up anything. So the thing is that over time, people are just bored, or people have no patience, and for those that really want to know the source, you can actually become a patron member, or by coffee, boosty, or locals. You can actually not locals, maybe just boosty Patreon and coffee, become a DPA officer. You will get access to this mapping, and you'll be able to look at all the sources and all including all the archive, and you can go through all the different days. You can actually do analysis on your own, which is what History Legend does. And the History Legend have access to the mapping. So when he do his video, this is what he used to do his research. So he find his sources, of course, not only from DPA but also from other sources. Then he put everything together. He can create a video. So and then he can actually explain in detail what exactly happened. So is useful in that sense. But most people probably don't need that kind of information. So eventually, after I get over my mental block, because there is that moral ethical kind of thing that I am very stuck on this format. Finally, after some time, I managed to get over it and report in the current way that maybe you will enjoy more. Although viewership pretty much is still around in the 20,000 plus, so it's not particularly high, but it's not exactly dismissive as well. So hopefully the channel will grow, but it's very hard. So I know 50% of you don't subscribe. Please subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, what will happen is that the channel cannot grow. If you feel that the channel will just keep appearing without you subscribing, the videos will come in, you don't need to subscribe, you can just watch. What will happen is that you deprive a totally new viewer from discovering DPA. So if you subscribe, what will happen is that YouTube will actually push the video more, which is also why you will see that Military Summary, Whip Union, and Denis Davidov, whatever, all these different other Ukraine war channels, they have a lot more views, mainly because they have a lot more subs. That's the main reason. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. Yep, as I mentioned, like button and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next update.